It's Thursday, October 30th, 2025. One thing to know today. Let's talk quantum computing. As Google, IBM, and Iconic push quantum computing from theory toward reality, post-quantum cryptography moves mainstream with Windows 11 and Palo Alto updates, hybrid quantum pilots prove practical results from finance to emergency services, and regulators warn that businesses must migrate to quantum-safe encryption by 2035. It reshapes how MSPs think about security, readiness, and opportunity. This is the business of tech. From TechNative, recent advancements in quantum computing suggest that the technology is moving closer to practical application, with companies like Google, IBM, and Microsoft making significant strides in stabilizing quantum systems. However, this progress poses grave risks to current encryption methods, as traditional security measures could be rendered obsolete by quantum capabilities, particularly with algorithms that can factor large numbers exponentially faster than classical computers. Experts warn that organizations must prepare for the impending changes. Many remain unprepared for the speed of this technological evolution. The National Institute of Standards and Technology advocates for the adoption of post-quantum cryptography to safeguard sensitive data. Additionally, the threat of harvest now, decrypt later attacks highlights the urgency for businesses to reassess their security protocols and begin implementing quantum-resistant solutions. Failure to act could lead to severe repercussions, including data breaches and regulatory noncompliance. From Semaphore, Google's quantum computing division has made significant advancements, recently publishing research that explores practical applications for quantum computers. In a project titled Quantum Echoes, researchers demonstrated the potential use of quantum computing for nuclear magnetic resonance, which can estimate the atomic structure of compounds. While current technology still relies on traditional computers for the task, the findings may pave the way for future scientific breakthroughs as quantum technology matures. The shift in focus for Google from merely proving the feasibility of quantum computers to making them cost-effective underscores the company's broader vision. Harmut Nevin, leader of Google's Quantum AI Lab, emphasized this shift during a recent visit. Additionally, Google's efforts in artificial intelligence, such as the AlphaFold Protein Prediction Project, reflect the company's commitment to leveraging technology for significant advancements in biotechnology and drug discovery, despite some current limitations in data quality. Sundar Pichai, CEO of Alphabet, has announced that commercially viable quantum computing could be just a few years away. During a discussion at Dreamforce 2025 with Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff, Pichai expressed optimism about advancements in quantum technology, highlighting Google DeepMind's achievements in the recent development of their quantum chip, Willow, which has shown significant error reduction and speed advantages over classical algorithms. He emphasized the need for collaboration on post-quantum cryptography due to those disruptions in current security protocols as quantum computing advances. Notably, while Pichai is bullish on the timeline, opinions vary in the industry, with NVIDIA's CEO suggesting that practical quantum computing may still be 20 years away. So what do we need to know? A segment for today, as I suspect you're like me, not versed in the technology. Quantum computers rely on qubits, which can represent multiple states simultaneously, allowing certain problems to be solved exponentially faster than with classical machines. Quantum computing has been moving from theory towards reality, with recent advances suggesting it's a question of when, not if, quantum machines achieve useful power. In the last year, researchers have made breakthroughs in fidelity, which is the accuracy of qubit operations, error correction, and scaling up the number of qubits in a system. For example, Iconic, a leader in trapped ion quantum tech, recently reported 99.99% 2-qubit gate fidelity, surpassing the previous record and marking the first 4 nines accuracy in the industry. This level of precision, achieved using a new electronic qubit control method from its Oxford Ionics acquisition, is a stepping stone toward fault-tolerant quantum computers, potentially reducing error correction overhead dramatically. Higher qubit quality means quantum processors can perform more operations before errors accumulate, bringing practical applications closer. Now, experts caution that we are in a period of quantum readiness and development rather than full deployment. Today's quantum processors, often with tens or a few hundred noisy qubits, can't yet solve broad commercial problems better than classical computers in a cost-effective way. However, the momentum is undeniable. Investments are pouring in, and organizations worldwide are starting to prepare for a quantum-enabled future. Quantum computing is expected to augment classical computing rather than outright replace it. In other words, tomorrow's solutions may use quantum processors alongside classical high-performance computing, or HPC, resources, each tackling the parts of a workload they're best suited for. This hybrid vision is already evident. National labs and cloud providers are working on architectures to integrate quantum machines with traditional supercomputers. The bottom line is that quantum computing is transitioning from a purely theoretical concept to a nascent reality. Business and tech providers should pay attention now to understand when and how this technology might leap from labs into practical use. 2025 has seen some of the first compelling examples of quantum or quantum hybrid systems tackling practical problems. In a pilot in the UK, D-Wave's quantum computer helped optimize emergency response routes for the North Wales Police. By using a hybrid quantum classical algorithm to determine the best placement of emergency vehicles, they cut the planning time for coverage from 4 months to 4 minutes. And in the simulation, this improved average incident response times by around 50%. In finance, banking giant HSBC partnered with IBM to test a quantum-enhanced algorithmic trading application. Using a hybrid quantum classical approach on live bond trading data, they achieved up to a 34% improvement in predicting trade execution probabilities. The trial, run on IBM's latest 127-qubit processors, codenamed Heron, is the first empirical evidence that current quantum hardware can add value to real financial problems. One area getting immediate attention is cryptography. While powerful quantum computers could threaten today's encryption, the flip side is the rise of post-quantum cryptography, or PQC, and other quantum-safe security measures. In 2025, we've seen concrete steps. NIST is finalizing new PQC algorithms for public use, and companies are beginning to implement them. For example, Palo Alto Networks updated its core firewall software to support some of these new quantum-resistant encryption algorithms. Similar initiatives are underway in the EU and ISO standard bodies. 2025 marked the first time a mainstream OS began weaving post-quantum crypto into its platform. Microsoft Windows 11 in insider builds introduced support for PQC algorithms in its cryptographic APIs middle of the year. Microsoft integrated the NIST standard algorithms into SymCrypt, the core crypto library used by Windows and many Microsoft services. That means that Windows 11, in preview, can now, for example, generate a PQC key pair, perform a hybrid TLS handshake in the TLS stack, or validate a PQC-based digital signature. So what should MSPs know? As an MSP, you might wonder if quantum computing is relevant to you today. The answer is yes, not because you need to deploy a quantum computer tomorrow, but because the ripple effects of quantum advancements are beginning. The most urgent impact is perhaps on encryption. Powerful quantum computers in the future could break today's public key cryptography, endangering everything from VPNs to banking transactions. Government agencies like the US NSA have urged organizations to transition to quantum-safe encryption by 2035, and the new PQC algorithms are entering the final stages of standardization. MSPs should start helping clients inventory their cryptographic systems and create a roadmap for adopting post-quantum cryptography. This is crucial for any client data that needs to remain secure for the long term. Think 5 to 10 or more years. Think of sensitive health records, intellectual property, or state secrets that adversaries might harvest now to decrypt later when quantum decryption becomes feasible. In practice, this means advising on updated protocols, deploying PQC-capable software as the firewall and VPN vendors roll it out, and possibly exploring quantum-resistant solutions like quantum key distribution for clients with ultra-high security needs. The quantum threat isn't here yet, but proactive MSPs will treat it like preparing for a coming storm, shoring up defenses well in advance. Transitioning encryption takes years. Inventory, test, and phase-in are multi-year efforts. Sectors such as pharmaceuticals, chemicals, finance, logistics, and materials science are widely expected to be among the first to see quantum advantages. In these fields, even a small improvement in simulation or optimization capability can translate to significant competitive gains, like faster drug candidate discovery or more efficient supply chain routing. Leaders in these industries are already running quantum pilots or partnering with quantum tech companies. Let's highlight how this would roll out. One doesn't need a dilution refrigerator in the office to leverage quantum computing. Major providers have made quantum hardware accessible through the cloud. MSPs might begin to offer quantum as a service, or at least facilitate quantum cloud trials for clients. IBM, for instance, has an array of quantum processors available on its IBM Quantum platform, now more flexibly accessible via its pay-as-you-go Flex plan, but the entry point is around $30,000. Amazon Bracket and Microsoft Azure Quantum similarly provide access to multiple quantum technologies through a familiar cloud model. As of late 2025, we see promising progress across many IT domains. VPNs and firewalls are offering quantum-resistant modes. Major cloud platforms have begun integrating PQC into their TLS and key management services. Operating systems like Windows 11 and the Linux libraries are building in support for new algorithms, and web browsers like Chrome and Firefox are largely PQC ready. Prioritizing PQC now reduces future breach risk and compliance exposure. Even with rapid progress, experts disagree on when fault-tolerant quantum computers will arrive. Estimates range from 5 to 20 years. But because cryptographic migrations and infrastructure updates can take nearly as long, organizations can't afford to wait until the timeline is certain. So why do we care? Quantum computing is not just sci-fi anymore. Google, IBM, and Iconic are making real progress, hitting new precision records and even running early hybrid applications. But the part MSPs should really care about? Encryption. When quantum computers get powerful enough, they'll be able to crack today's RSA and ECC encryption. The US government's already saying, move to quantum-safe encryption by 2035. Microsoft's even testing this in Windows 11. So no, you don't need to buy a quantum computer. You just need to get ready for one. Start mapping where your clients use old crypto, think about quantum-safe updates, and maybe start talking about crypto agility as a service. As listener Doug highlighted in spurring this conversation, think cryptographic inventory, gap analysis for where it won't be automatically upgraded, and a resolution plan to address all the needs. Quantum's going to hit cybersecurity first, and the smart providers will be ready before their clients even ask the question. The real question is how fast this will come. My bias has been that this seems around the corner for too long, so the inclination is to believe it never will. The insight is that it will suddenly just happen. Thanks for listening. Today, National Candy Corn Day, which I happen to like, and National Checklist Day, which I also like. Want more from the Business of Tech? Join Business of Tech Plus for ad-free episodes, early interviews, extended cuts, subscriber-only shows, and exclusive member perks and analysis. Sign up at businessof.tech/plus. And follow this show in your podcast app, and if you're on YouTube, hit subscribe and the bell so you never miss a story. Reviews and comments help spread the word too. Interested in advertising? Head to mspradio.com/engage. The Business of Tech is written and produced by me, Dave Sobel, under ethics guidelines posted at businessof.tech. Thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next episode.
Part of the MSP Radio Network.